The center of Pembroke could be getting a bit of a facelift in the future. It could be in the very near future if one local architect gets her way. Kim Sullivan Citroni, born and raised in Pembroke, wrote her thesis on this project in order to gain her master's in architecture at the University of Maryland, and just recently defended her thesis before a good-sized audience at the Pembroke Public Library.
Intrigued by the presentation, a good amount of time, probably a year. Well, thank you everybody for coming.
I chose to do this project because I think that Pembroke has a lot of really great aspects to it. The history, the culture, the ecology of the area, they're all very unique, and they're really strong features that are here, but you don't see that in the center of town. The center of town comes off as a little sparse. There's not a lot of activity here. The activity that is here is really strongly indicative of the community. So these things are huge assets in this town, and they should show through in the center. At the same time, the population is growing. There's going to be about 1,300 more people in the next 14 years in this town. Where are they going to go? We need to plan for that. What usually ends up happening is every time something comes up, something needs to be built. At that point, it's dealt with piecemeal. If you make a master plan for the town, everything fits in to a holistic vision for the town. Any special place you've ever been to, whether it's a city or a small town, has a big idea behind it that makes it special, and all of the elements fit into it. And so that's the idea of what I'm trying to do here. By doing this, every time a construction project comes up in the future, be it the community center or down the road the town hall or the police station or additional housing, those things fall into the master plan very easily. You don't have to start at square one every time. You already know what the location is and what you're trying to emphasize with the vision of the town. So the vision of this town is, what I'm proposing is to bring the unique ecology right through the center of town with a string of parks, and intersect that with a kind of a denser village-like town center. There's plenty of space here in the center of town. Much of it is owned by the town, much of it is privately owned. So part of the vision that I came up with involves public-private partnerships. For example, there's a need for exhibition or larger meeting space here. And there's also a need for a community center. So why not build that into the community center and allow private organizations to lease out the space or organize weddings out of the space. With the string of parks, it would be a beautiful place for something like that, and it would raise money for the town. So now you have an income-generating community center, and it suddenly becomes a little bit less of a burden on the town. So the job of the architect is not only to design the built environment, it's to consider all of these diverse needs that go into it as well. This project focuses on the historic center of town, which is a quarter-mile by quarter-mile area, so that's small, but it relates to the rest of the town as well, because these new people are coming to town. There's going to be more young people and more seniors, so they have different housing needs than the typical single-family home, and that can be provided for here in a way that preserves open space in the rest of town. There's a lot of conservation land in town, and that is a huge asset here. Private developers may be able to develop a sewage treatment system in conjunction with the town that the town could then tap into for the properties around the ponds. And by doing that, it would clean up the ponds and bring health back to the ponds, and that's a big issue in the town too. Those ponds are what gives the town its special identity, and I'm trying to bring that back to Pembroke and make it something Pembroke can be proud of.